Hey there, welcome to our channel. If you're anything like me, you've probably found yourself wondering at some point how to read people better. Maybe you're tired of not being able to tell if someone's really interested in what you're saying, or if they're just being polite. Or maybe you just want to improve your people skills in general. Well, fear not my friends, because today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 psychological tips for how to read anyone instantly. Tip number 1, pay attention to body language. One of the easiest ways to tell what someone is really thinking or feeling is to pay attention to their body language. Are they crossing their arms? That could be a sign that they're feeling defensive or closed off. Are they leaning in towards you? That's a good indication that they're interested in what you're saying. By paying attention to these little cues, you can start to get a better understanding of the person you're talking to. Tip number 2, listen to their tone of voice. Not only can body language give you clues about how someone is feeling, but so can their tone of voice. Are they speaking quickly and excitedly? That could mean they're feeling happy or enthusiastic. Are they speaking slowly and carefully? That could be a sign that they're feeling cautious or unsure. Again, by paying attention to these little cues, you can start to build a more accurate picture of the person you're talking to. Tip number 3, watch their eye movements. Believe it or not, the way someone moves their eyes can give you a lot of information about what's going on in their head. For example, if someone is looking up and to the left, that's usually a sign that they're trying to remember something. If they're looking up and to the right, that's usually a sign that they're trying to visualize something. These little clues can be incredibly helpful when you're trying to read someone's thoughts or feelings. Tip number 4, notice their breathing. When someone is feeling anxious or stressed, their breathing can become shallow and rapid. On the other hand, when someone is feeling calm and relaxed, their breathing tends to be slow and deep. By paying attention to someone's breathing, you can get a sense of how they're feeling and whether they're comfortable in the situation they're in. Tip number 5, look for patterns. One of the most powerful things about human psychology is that we tend to fall into patterns of behavior. For example, if someone always looks away when they're feeling uncomfortable, you can start to recognize that pattern and use it to your advantage. By noticing these patterns, you can start to anticipate how someone will react in certain situations and adjust your own behavior accordingly. Tip number 6, ask open-ended questions. If you want to get a better understanding of someone's thoughts and feelings, one of the best things you can do is ask them open-ended questions. Instead of asking yes or no questions, try to ask questions that require a more thoughtful response. This can help you get a better sense of how someone thinks and feels about certain topics. Tip number 7, pay attention to their gestures. Just like body language, gestures can be incredibly revealing about how someone is feeling. For example, if someone is clenching their fists, that's usually a sign that they're feeling angry or frustrated. If they're nodding their head while you're talking, that's a good sign that they're engaged and interested. By paying attention to these little cues, you can start to build a more complete picture of the person you're talking to. Tip number 8, be aware of your own body language. Of course, it's not just the other person's body language that's important, your own body language can also have an impact on how they perceive you. If you want to come across as confident and assertive, for example, you might stand up straight and make eye contact. If you want to come across as friendly and approachable, you might smile and nod your head. By being aware of your own body language, you can communicate your own thoughts and feelings more effectively. Tip number 9, pay attention to their facial expressions. Facial expressions are one of the most important aspects of nonverbal communication. A smile, a frown, or even a raised eyebrow can give you a lot of information about how someone is feeling. For example, if someone is smiling when you're talking to them, that's usually a good sign that they're happy or interested. If they're frowning, that could be a sign that they're unhappy or disagreeing with what you're saying. By paying attention to their facial expressions, you can get a better sense of what's going on in their head. Tip number 10, trust your intuition. Finally, it's important to trust your own instincts when it comes to reading people. While all of these tips can be incredibly helpful, there's no substitute for your own intuition and experience. If something doesn't feel right about the way someone is acting or responding, it's worth paying attention to that feeling and digging a little deeper. So there you have it, my top 10 psychological tips for how to read anyone instantly. While these tips won't make you a mind reader overnight, they can certainly help you build better relationships with the people around you. Whether you're in a business meeting, a social gathering, or just having a conversation with a friend, these tips can help you get a better sense of what's going on in the minds of those around you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos on psychology and personal development.